I know this is the first time for Beijing to host a major table tennis event after the 1961 World Championships, and this time it's in Shougang Park, one of the main venues for the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics. So how do you feel about this visit?
Yeah, we're very proud and very happy that we could come back to the capital of China, Beijing. As you said, 1961, we had the first ever ITTF World Table Tennis Championships in China, in Beijing, and now we have the first ever WTT Grand Smash in China, also in Beijing. So it's a wonderful moment, it's a historical moment, and we're very happy to be here in this most important city in this wonderful country. Shougang is really interesting, you know, it's where the past meets the future, and we can see, you know, this old industrial steel factory that's been turned into this wonderful modern place, and using a lot of, you know, green ideas, modern ideas, innovative ideas. And we think table tennis is a little bit the same. You know, table tennis is a very traditional sport, been around for almost 100 years at the ITTF. And WTT is also trying to be modern and innovative and show the world a different form of table tennis. So combining the two, Shougang and WTT, has just been a perfect place.
At the Paris Olympics, China have swept all 5 gold medals on offer, but it was not without some difficulty. We've seen some exciting matches from the European countries. And do you see it as a sign that Europe is developing more and more competitive in the sport?
I think we can see internationally the sport is getting stronger in many different countries. As you mentioned, Europe, of course. We know traditionally they were very strong. So for them to come back now and take medals again in Paris is a wonderful sign for table tennis. But internationally, we also see some other places starting to come as well. So, you know, we have a fantastic male player from Brazil, Hugo Calderano, a female player from Puerto Rico, Adriana Diaz, some really wonderful African players, Omar Assa, Quadri Aruna, and some of the women also in Africa starting to do amazingly well as well. So we can see the whole global landscape of table tennis improving year by year.
In what ways do you see the sport has grown more and more popular around the globe lately?
Well, I think, you know, when we're in Paris, you know, the Olympic Games every 4 years is a wonderful barometer for us to see where the sport is. And we could really feel in Paris this time, not only like what we talked about with the top players from different parts of the world doing well, but also just the fans, the spectators, the wonderful media interest. We've seen the ratings after Paris in terms of having excellent results in parts of the world where we would normally not maybe get such big results for the sport. So like India, USA, even some countries, Kazakhstan, and some very different places that we could see the media results being excellent for our sport. And that gives us a feeling that the sport is on a much higher level. And now when we're here in Beijing and having the Grand Smash, you know, we make sure then that after this wonderful result at the Olympics, that the attention paid to our sport remains at a very high level. And here in Beijing, they've done a wonderful job to make sure that is remaining.
After the establishment of World Table Tennis, we've seen a number of new tournaments rising to the annual calendar and the rise of prize money. So tell us more about how WTT is bringing more influence of the sport to the world.
Well, we really wanted to make sure that we try to professionalize more the sport of table tennis, and that's been a driving force of how we think at World Table Tennis. By doing that, of course, we have to think from a commercial point of view, you know, from a presentation standards point of view. We have to think, how do we really look after the players as our #1 core asset, and also the fans? And how do we make every time when the fans come to see a table tennis event that they're, you know, super excited. You know, the feeling in the venue is with a lot of energy and so forth. So we did a lot of work on the design of that, and now, you know, it's starting to pay off with lots of wonderful events, and not only a big event in China. We're having, you know, big events now internationally. Next month or later this month, we will go to Montpellier in France. Next month we have a Champions event in Frankfurt in Germany, and other major events popping up all around the world. Yeah. Even next year we hope to have some even bigger events also in some new markets like United States, India, etc.
So speaking of high-level tournaments, WTT and the ITTF have held a number of high-level tournaments around the world in 2024, and it's a big rise in numbers. And different kinds, also team championships, mixed team championships. So what is the purpose or the reason behind hosting all of these different types of tournaments?
Well, I think in the past, table tennis always had every 4 years the Olympic Games where we got our major attention, and then we would have our World Table Tennis Championships every year, 1 year individuals and 1 year team events. And we felt that the sport wasn't getting enough attention on a more regular basis. So we felt we needed much more events where the sport is more regularly seen on the major TV channels, in the media, in the news, on a more regular basis, like we see for most of the other sports. They are also having major events on a very regular basis, and we believe we're the best sport in the world, so we want the people to see it all the time, and that's probably been the driving force on why you now see so many more major events.
What about the future of table tennis as WTT and the ITTF are bringing more influence and reach to the world?
Yeah, and I think it's growing. It's going to be very important for us to develop new markets as well. That will be an important thing. As I said already, United States, India are two key markets that we're looking at. Also capitalizing on the success and the renewed success of Europe, doing more there. And then it will be putting a fair bit of attention into the high performance of trying to have even more stars coming and challenging at the highest level.